In a few minutes, this water gonna start turning. It don't take long. Once this fire get hot, this water gonna start turning. After that water start turning, then I'm gonna have to go ahead and kill the hog, bring the hog up. I'm gonna take this barrel right behind you here. I'm gonna put this hog in this barrel right here and scald it. Put him in head first, head first. Basically, all my picture is history about like different places. I go all the way back through history, like. I don't just draw the drawing, I draw history, life. So when people come down through, they want to see that, well, this was my granddaddy, 1986. He had this compound, that's why my roots got started. So his grandkids can come here and see their picture. That's my granddaddy farm.
Well, it's not just his memory, it's your memory as well. Many scenes that I recognize, that when we first met, many of the scenes were scenes that I recognized from my childhood, because it turns out he knew my grandfather. He knew a lot of people that I knew, and we shared many of the same visions or experiences that I didn't know. Now those pages have been sold and gone. I wish I'd gotten them, because some of them have great meaning to me as well.
And I also got the picture drawn already drawn out for this. The camera, you, I got it already drawn with the picture. I drew it last night. All right, this right here are you. See your camera right there, just you with the camera. This right here is Mo with his camera right there. This right here is her right here. This right here, Miss Gunner. This right here, Barbara. This, my Uncle Joe right yonder, sitting right yonder. This Bo, my big brother, he ain't made it here yet. And this me down on the knee. And this Pam standing right there.
You gotta put Mike in there.
I gotta get Mike. I just done this last night, so I gotta put Mike.
That is great, Joe.
And that's that tree look right there. See the background of the tree? I got it, I dated it. Hog killing, 2015.
Glenda called me and sent me a photograph that she had discovered Joe, and Joe lives on Tatum Pine Hill. And I used to play as a child on Tatum Pine Hill. And when I went over to meet Joe for the first time, we shared a lot of memories. He knew a lot of people that I knew. I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but he knew my grandparents. He went deer hunting with Judge George Reedy, who was a former student of mine, and George came to the reception the other night. I called George, got George involved. George has bought several paintings. And I didn't know that Joe used to clean deer for George. So it's amazing how the network of all of us has sort of come together.
What he paints is what he knows. Every painting represents something, and he remembers what his inspiration was. He remembers what he was thinking. Those things catch your attention when you look at the art, but when you talk to him and hear his voice and his feelings, and it just makes all of that come out of that canvas and create the story so much more than just a static visual. It becomes so dimensional when you can hear him tell the story.
Most of my pictures, I go back in time. I don't like drawing up to date. I like to try, when I'm drawing a picture, I want to go back in time, like it was back then. Back then, a lot of people couldn't afford a mule, because a mule was just as expensive as a car. You couldn't buy a mule or you couldn't buy a horse. So I go back in time. A person would have had a car, a truck, or a tractor. He was a millionaire. That's when I draw a lot of these pictures that show young kids how life was. It ain't like they think it is today. New cars, new bikes, it wasn't like that back then. A kid didn't know what a bike was back then. Back then, we didn't rode a hog, a goat, or you didn't ride horses back then. The bigger you rode back then with mule. Couldn't afford a horse.
I was raised when I was 4 and 5 years old by an African-American couple named Gene and Emma, and they lived in a shotgun shack on a place owned by my grandfather, which I now own. And Emma became my mother, and Gene was my father, and they cared for me. And when we went to the field to plant sweet potatoes, my grandfather had a brown mule, on a white mule. It was a pretty good, probably 3 miles to the field, the old place we called it. So Granddaddy would let me ride up on the top of the mule's manes, because I couldn't stay on otherwise. And I would lead the other mule, and Gina and them would walk with me. So I told that story. Joe said, well, I'll paint that for you. I said, oh, Joe, I'd be great with you. Well, so I'm good. So he shows up, and here it is. And there's Emma sitting on the front porch. There's her basket. It's a brown horse. There's the pot that we put killed hogs in. Everything that I mentioned to Joe, just in a discussion, he puts it on a board for me. And this board, by the way, came from my great-great-grandfather's home that I grew up in. I slept on that board. So it just has great value. But he can see things and remember things and translate them.
What's in your mouth?
We have a horse show, and in that horse show, a lot of the main events is the end of the day, the horse race. And Joe has been champion out there for a long time. Joe reaches way back from, I mean, in the local towns, they know about Joe Wren when it comes to horseback riding.
That's Yo-Yo. That's the oldest horse I got. I had never kept a horse till he turned 15. When a horse I keep him till he get 4 years old, he got to go. I sold over 300 some horses, but when he get 15 years old, I had never kept him down that long. I got him at 6 months old, but all the other horses I got, they were a little older. They were like 2 years old. I got one now. I got him when he was a baby. I got him when he was 5 months old, and he's a paint. He this color right here. This fact about it, this his picture right here. I got one this color right here. He in the past this color right here. I got him when he was 5 months old. And him and Yo-Yo are the only two horses I ever got young and kept them. When they turned 5, I got rid of them.
Well, I've known Joe all of my life. My father was a farmer. He owned property next door to Joe's property. So I grandfathered in that way to knowing Joe through the farming, through the horseback riding and things like that. I'm a younger guy, younger than Joe, but I've actually picked cotton. I have picked cotton, I've applied the mule. A lot of things in this photo goes way back, reaches deep down inside, and I can relate to it.
We're going to go to the hog pen. Y'all can walk out edge of there, keep them walking in a lot of this mud and water and stuff.
Y'all doing something with the chicks tonight? No, sir, we're not. We're running New York strip and grilled salmon.
When I first saw Joe's work, I was immediately taken away, and I think it's very much because the colors are very vivid, and the irony is that the colors in the Delta are all very muted, but through these bright colors, it's hopeful looking. It's exciting. It's bright and it's fun, which is, I spend a lot of time in the Delta. That's not the feeling that you get when you drive down out of the hills and bottom out in the Delta at all. And so the fact that that somebody sort of coming from from Joe's background could see his world in those colors just totally blew me away.
I've never seen anything that gives you this feeling or this sense. And there's been lots of pictures shown of, done of, cotton fields and people working in the cotton fields, but they don't portray what I see and feel from these. So. And I can't tell you what that is. I just know that I've never had the desire to buy this as a subject before until I saw Joe's paintings. I guess the others look so staid and almost staged, and this, I don't think these are staged. I think it's just sort of pouring out of him onto the it's not even a canvas, onto the wood. And it's, the scenes are incredible. I've got the sign that used to be on his fence, Ponderosa Rosa. Same thing. It's different. It just happens.
I think it's that it's authentic. I don't want to, because I don't think it's outsider, because he's not an outsider. He's a Mississippian. What they saw was authentic. It wasn't someone trying to imitate a style for profit. It was someone very authentic telling his story and doing his thing for no other reason until someone met him than his pure and simple joy of it. And I think everyone can appreciate that. If you're doing something that you're truly passionate about, you want to find that, because that's the work you want.
That's the picture I was telling you about. This house right here was the house we got no flow in it. This is the house I was born in 1960. And we moved later on. We moved from here to here. My mama, they bought the first new house built on this road right here, Mount Lotto Road. All of the neighborhood got together, they built this house. I stayed in this house here about 3 months. I moved out of this house down to this house right here with my grandmama and her daddy. My grandmama moved from there to this old house right here, and that old house was right down yonder. That's where that trailer at. It's tore down. I stayed there till 1975, to this house. My grandmama moved away, and I went to Job Corps. This right here was a bootlegger house in 1975. We walked right down there till she sell beer and whiskey and stuff. That could come. That hot water, pour that. All right, head first. All right, turn him in. All right, now let's spin him around. Watch that, knock him out. All right. Right here, this guy here, he go in the house, get prepared, get a knife. His uncle and stuff, they don't kill one hog, they cooking off the lard. All right, these hogs him hanging, getting ready to be cut up, they put it in this smokehouse. They'll cut his head off, they'll smoke a whole hog. They put him in this house. This house here got no flow in. They put the hickory wood and the sapphire wood and they make a smoke. Once they get some smoking, they'll take this hog into this house. Into this house. They'll cut the meat up and let it sit out, probably a month or so, let it sit in there, let it dry completely out. And also in the back of this house right here, they'll have something like a hole under the house, like a cellar. They'll put all that meat and stuff down in that cellar so it keep cool.
I think the honesty to folk art, and really the sort of unbastardized, personal image, of what a place is or what a belief is, that these individuals have is the beauty of it. It is really you are getting an honest look at what this man's view is of these places that he loves or he chooses to set his sights on.
Well, I think for me, it's not the technique. Joe's paintings have heart. They tell a story. They clearly come from something of the past that means something. And how he puts that on canvas is not as important as the story itself.
You know, especially like when he talks about his blind grandfather being the one who taught him to paint. And you think, well, how can a blind man teach somebody how to paint? But I think his grandfather could teach him how to paint by talking about life and just about the feel of things, because what you see in Joe's paintings is a feeling.
I have no training in art, and I'm colorblind. So I went to law school, and I have a business degree. I have absolutely no background in art. But what I know is this, that if you can put people with artists and give them the opportunity to actually share their story, all of a sudden everyone understands art. And that's the barrier to art. The biggest problem with art is everyone thinks you have to know something. You have to be this teacher or have some special knowledge. And the truth is, you just have to be willing to be open to hear what the artist is saying. Because art is only this. Art is how you tell a story. I'm trying to tell you something, and I'm using a medium.
Take his head off now.
This long knife here?
That long knife, take it off.
Yeah, buddy.
Look, ain't no down way close to the neck.
Right there. Joe, this neat. Right there, Joe.
Just watch. Take your time now, what I told you. All right.
I'm used to this. I've been doing this for so long when I was young. He had me out here fixing fences and cutting hogs, hauling wood and all.
Let me down.
This is my daddy Joe Wren for you.
Well, this place is just a tour cabin like. That's where I put most of them. When I get my picture, like I do a lot of picture, I store it in here. Come up inside and I'll show you the picture, some picture I got in here. This picture here is a picture of a buck. This the buck we just seen a while ago. He grazed right there. You see that shooting range out there? He grazed right there, but in the fall year he won't come up. He was out there a while ago. That's the one we looking at a while ago. That buck right there. And this picture right here is the picture of the Tallahatchie Fairground. Picture right here, Tallahatchie County Fairground. In my younger year, I was wild. I was wild, but come to church, come to like people, I was nice. But with my own, being my own, like off to myself, I was wild. Just like any other youngsters. But down the line, I learned. Back in about a year or about 3 years ago, before I got married, I took and pulled my teeth with a knife. I'll tell you my history. I took a knife up this store right up here. I cut 9 teeth out. I didn't have no income. The way to get my teeth pulled, I took a knife and cut my teeth out. And I took a knife and stuck it to a heel. And heating that knife and got it red hot. I drank a fifth of Jack Daniels. I drank a case of Budweiser. Got drunk and stuck that hot knife in my mouth. I had cut them teeth out. I stayed drunk almost 12 hours. When I sober up, my mouth was well, but I had pain for a month. I started getting sick. I started going downhill. I had broke roots off in my mouth. I had bone broke off. I started going downhill.
Why did you want to take the teeth out?
They were hurting. They were riding. My teeth were riding. Back then, teeth had went up to one teeth was $100 to get it pulled. But as it healed, it got infected because I didn't go get no kind of technical start with the bone broke and got infected. So as it healed, but I stayed like that for 6 months. In the 6 month time, he came back. The nerve in them bone was broke off in there. It came back. I started having seizures. I started having headache. I didn't have no appetite. Once I got my disability started, I still had to go transfer back and forth to Jackson to Madison. Then once I started getting medication, I started coming back this way. Once I get back this way, I'm gonna change my life, start doing stuff better. I quit drinking. I hadn't drunk a liquor or no kind of alcohol in 5 years. Don't even give me no desire. It can be alcohol in any kind of juice or something, I'm not gonna drink. I had never smoked. I never did drugs. I quit drinking. That was my worst thing with drinking.
Self-taught artists communicate in a universal way, just like music. Music transcends everything. I think self-taught artists have a tendency to transcend all those barriers.
I think there's almost nothing more beautiful than that, when somebody can find a way to express what is immediately around them, and that expression expresses how much they love and adore and are passionate about what is immediately around them. There's no wanderlust in his paintings. It is just sincere and core Mississippi, which is what Joe is.
It's beautiful stuff. It's striking. It's colorful. It's full of imagery, and it really it touches on the sort of mysterious and spooky and often depressing beauty that is the life in the Delta in the last 100 years.
This bacon, I'm cutting out now. That's what you call bacon. I'm gonna cut it out so you'll see what it look like. See, that's a middle. That's a bacon slab. That's a slab of a bacon off a hog. This is what they did back in the old days. That's how they did to me. This is what you call hog cracking. They make cracking now. You'll take that lean off. You won't leave that lean on that cracking cause it'll make it burn. You have pure fat and skin. And right here, these are your ribs. You trim these ribs, the meat, you trim off these ribs, it go in your sausage. And when you want to make a ball and butt off of it, you take your skin off. And you come across with your meat sauce. This are your ham, right here. It's a roast. This is what you call a roast right across here, roast. All right? Right here, what you call the pork chop. A lot of people on wild hog and on deer, they call this a backstrap. But on a hog, this you call it pork chop. What you call eating high on the hog right here. Only thing about this right here, you got no back but no bone in your pork chop. It's called bony pork chop. This is the most high piece of pork chop you can buy in the store, see? That's a bony pork chop that you call the #1 piece. No bone, pure meat. That you call inside tenderloin. When you want to cook it, you can just take it and wrap it in aluminum foil and put it on the grill. It's a tender piece of the hog. And then your neck bone right there. Neck bone, your rib. That's the whole hog. They tell the whole hog.